All right, folks, it's August. It's hot, summer. Everybody's trying to enjoy it. And those of us who hold a little bit of XDC might be having some fun. Now, not going to apologize, but I know the title is a little extra. XDC Pumps HARD. Let's go. We love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Back up to about 9 cents for XDC. But we're going to be talking current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. As always, full breakdown before we get to the pump, before we look at the XDC technical analysis and see where this thing could be going next. We got to understand the full picture. As always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you need to get in contact with us or you want to join our community, we would love to have you in the family. Just head on over to my website, ZachRector.com. With that being said, folks, I'm going to run up this session. Going to share this one out on X.com. If you guys could do me a favor, please share this one out far and wide. Let everyone know that we got a late night session just 13 minutes after 8 p.m. here on the West Coast, and we're going to get a party started. What do you guys say? Thank you for tuning in for the late night session, and let's get it rocking and rolling right now. The cryptocurrency market, 29,143 for Bitcoin, 1,833 for Ethereum, and we have our XRP down to 66 cents. That hurts. We're getting impatient. It's getting tough out here. And we have these coins, that have been moving, XRP, XLM. Today we get XDC, and over the past month we got XDC. I'm pulling a 14-cent Stellar, and I'm pulling a $4 Filecoin, 5 cents H-bar. And just watching this market right now, some of these coins have started to take off, and we're waiting on a couple others. For me, it's been just amazing to watch. I think I skipped over XDC, but I can pull up the chart here. And we're going to be taking a look at XDC later at the end of this session. But right now, folks, we got to break down the current events before we understand the cryptocurrency story part of the timeline. So, as always, full update for you guys. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Let's get it started. Let's roll. President Trump arrived at the U.S. District Court to face a third set of criminal charges. Accompanied by his lawyers, John Lauro and Todd Blanche, he sat at the defense table in a serious demeanor. Unlike other defendants from the J6 incident, Trump will not face detention, as per an agreement between his lawyers and the government. And, one sec. However, he is not allowed to discuss the case due to the terms of the agreement. So he will not be allowed to talk about this case due to the terms of this agreement, and the next hearing is scheduled for August 28th, which will be overseen by Judge Tanya Chutkin, although Trump has the option to waive his appearance at the hearing. There is a link to read more about this tyranny in the following tweet. And so this one here shared by Ron CodeMonkeyZ, live reporting from the Trump situation. And what we find so interesting is this timeline right here. This is one of Trump's lawyers, Alina, or I should say the spokesperson for Donald Trump, Alina Habba, and she shares this timeline, which is just quite a coincidence. She brought the fire today. Quote, on March 17th, Hunter Biden admits that it was his laptop from hell. The next day, DA Alvin Bragg indicts President Trump. June 8th, an FBI document is released showing that the Ukrainians paid the Biden crime family millions and millions of dollars. The next day, the Mar-a-Lago raid. Last week, Hunter Biden's sweetheart plea deal fell through when the judge realized it had blanket immunity. That's right. They're trying to get blanket immunity in that plea deal last week. The following day, a superseding indictment against Donald Trump. And then on July 31st, Devin Archer goes to testify in front of the House. What happens the next day? The January 6th indictment that we're here for today. This is not a coincidence. This election interference at its finest. President Trump is under siege in a way that we have never seen before. President Trump will continue to fight not for him, but for the American people. And we actually have presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy files a Freedom of Information Act request against the Biden DOJ outside the same courthouse where Trump will be arrested today, demanding information that will expose political persecution against Trump. Now, I know some folks are saying, let's just get to crypto, bro, and I get it. But as I've been saying, the stage has been set. Trump is back on stage. He, stepped aside for a brief moment in time. He's going to be taking the stage periodically, a little bit more now as we approach this election cycle starting to pick up. But you better not get tired of this, because this is just the start, because we have allegations on both sides, right? Trump's being tried for crimes, and we have allegations on both sides. And I don't have to go into that tonight. You guys understand. But the question remains, are you going to be distracted by this and miss out on the opportunity at hand, which is the greatest transfer of wealth in world history? Are you going to get offended by this, get so worked up that you don't take action and you miss out on the greatest transfer of wealth in world history? And are you going to continue to blame politicians and use that as your excuse for why you're not going to be taking care of your family, why you're not going to be saving or growing your business, why you're not going to be investing in suppressed assets that are going to provide incredible opportunities? We have to focus and keep our eyes on the prize right now and understand, cut through the confusion, cut through the chaos. The political theater, just one part of the play, one part of the show. So let's stay tapped in, and that's why we do it. Now, this is going to expose a lot, though, right? We've talked about this. Trump's team's going to be able to subpoena. They're going to be able to bring in, and we're going to go back to discovery. And it's so interesting. After we get out of this Ripple lawsuit, well, we're not all the way through with it, right? But a historical case in the cryptocurrency space just took place, and now we have a historical case when it comes to a former president. This is an amazing time to be alive, folks, and we're in the fight to save our country, right? And for me, it's standing for truth, and it's standing for taking massive action despite whatever's taking place in the political theater. That's what we stand for. XRP Blinder, thank you for the 2-spot. Beware of the full moon werewolves. Have a good show. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. We're going to get right on into it, guys. So we see Bank of England rug pulling their economy as well, increases interest rates by 0.25 percentage points to 5.25% interest, the highest level in 15 years. Highest level in 15 years. We're at the highest level in 20 years here in the United States. The Fed's rug pulling us. Bank of England rug pulling. The Bank of England was about to go bust during the events of 2020. They were pretty dang close. And so they're still going through the crisis over there as well. Usage of the Fed's emergency bank bailout facility is now at a new record high at $106 billion per Bloomberg. But Twitter bros want to say that the economy's fine. That the stocks are up. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that the bank facility here for backing up the whole damn system is at, what did it say here? A new record high. Not back to the great financial crisis. Not back. Well, this is a relatively new program, so who knows how far this program actually goes back, but at a new record high. Just like the reverse repo, right? And so this is where this situation starts to get really dicey for the average business, for the average person who's just trying to figure it out and take care of their family, which is why we keep on putting out the content every single night. Not to give financial advice, as my shirt from brother Jay says. Huge shout out to Jay, member of our Discord family. Not here to give you financial advice, but I'm here to break down the current events and then show you how I'm positioning myself. Right? That's all we do here, is we break down the current events, my understanding of it, and then how I'm actually making it, protecting it, and multiplying it. Very simple. With that being said, this is the real numbers on the ground, and they're trying to tout these as fantastic, amazing. 225,000 jobs out of the total 324,000 jobs added were mojito shakers and pool servers, aka hospitality and leisure jobs. Quick note, not hating on that work at all. Not hating on the service industry at all. I have a business in the service industry. I don't hate on blue collar work at all. But this reiterates the point that the struggle is real, to put it in the terms that the kids use. The struggle is real. The participation trophy economy is over. Now to participate, you need 2 or 3 jobs to be able to feed your family. And manufacturing lost almost 40,000 jobs. Now, I actually retweeted this out and I added to the fact that the most recent job numbers that we got too, it was like 28%. It was nearly a third of all the new jobs were actually government jobs too. The United States government is the biggest employer in the world. It's pretty incredible to think, right? Not the biggest country in the world by population, pretty big geographically, pretty big based off of our budget and how much damn debt we got. but we are the biggest corporation and employer in the world. And, nearly a third of the jobs that we're supposed to be cheering on, Bidenomics, everybody's feeling warm and fuzzy inside. Third of them coming from government work. And most of them are service jobs that are not jobs that can help you create generational wealth for your family. And when I say generational wealth in this aspect, I'm talking about just being able to hand down a little tiny nest egg and maybe 1 or 2 properties. No, not anything crazy, but generational in the terms of just being able to hand down something to your children. If we're having to pick up 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, that's not handing anything down. We're just surviving. And now a new poll came out that 40% of Americans don't even have $1,000 cash, savings or anything to their name, liquid. They might have a credit card or a dozen, as credit card balances are about to reach $1 trillion here in the United States. Truly incredible here, folks. And so this is why we've been talking about getting tapped in. And you guys know the real ones that have been with me for the 2.5 years that we've been making content, or even if you were just here for the last year, during the 2022, during the start, I put out my recession to-do list. And what was number 1? Income. How are we going to make sure it keeps on coming in? And God willing, how are we going to grow that and bring in more? We're being lied to about inflation, and it gets a whole hell of a lot worse, folks. Crypto might be doing this. We might think something fun's happening in crypto, but we have to focus on the macro situation at play here and the reality on the ground. Our XRP just got clarity as the only digital asset in the space with clarity. The rest of the space is on fire. The whole damn banking system's on fire. And I'm going to show you guys here later in this episode about the Tether manipulation and the manipulation that's taking place with all of the stable coins. They're still creating new stable coins, funneling it to Tether, funneling it out of other stable coins, and they're leaving Tether. I mean, this is all on chain for all eyes to see. And, we can celebrate, we can talk about moons, we can talk about, XRP being worth 10,000. We've always put out the caveat that XRP was going to have clarity, was going to start to have its moment, potentially when the world was on fire, literally, metaphorically speaking, with the financial system. And that's where we're at. And the crypto space is definitely included. Operation Choke Point only accelerating and getting worse. Now, just making sure you guys are still with me. We got TikTok streaming. We got YouTube streaming. If you guys haven't already, please share this one out far and wide and make sure you smash that thumbs up. Quick point on the real estate asset class. We're going to take a look right here. So this is what gets me so excited here. This impacts everyone. And so over the last year, I've started to talk about real estate more, trying to put out a more consistent real estate update because this impacts everybody. Whether you're a renter, you're a first-time home buyer like me, you're going to start your investment portfolio like me, or you're a seasoned property owner and investor, this impacts everyone. In this article here, quote, "The mortgage rate shock regains bite just as the housing market enters into the seasonal soft window. The mortgage rate shock regains bite just as the housing market enters into this situation. On Tuesday, the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate ticked up to 7.13%. Most of the deals that have been done over the past few years, especially during the last couple years of mania, they don't pencil out at these rates. So it's just a matter of when that debt has to come due. I wish that I had pulled up the clip. I had another one from Ken McElroy, had the stat, and I believe that it's 800 billion. I believe it's 800 billion in new mortgages and real estate debt that has to be renewed by next year here just in the United States. It's nearly $1 trillion just in the United States. And I remember covering up in Canada, it's like 400 billion. And so a lot of these deals aren't going to pencil out at 7% is your average mortgage rate for a 30-year fixed, right? You have different rates for commercial. You have different, you're going to have competitive rates across the board, and you might have to pay more if you have bad credit. So 7% back to housing, and the deal's only penciled out at 2 and 3%. The deal's only penciled out in a participation trophy economy. And we're heading into the soft window right now. Now, what's interesting in my market is that I just saw another property that I had just saved, on Zillow. And it's funny because I laugh because we're just getting wrecked. First time home buyers, millennials, we're just getting absolutely wrecked. It's awesome. But we can take advantage of it if we've been prepared, if we're ready to actually, get serious when we pull up to the table, and we got to work our butts off to stack up some cash because we can't just walk on in with nothing. The credit markets are tightening up. But if we can make a deal work here now, a lot of the pitch that we're seeing in the real estate market is buy now, refinance later. And that's always great. But if you move in with a model and a program that's going to work from day one in terms of cash flow covers debt service from day one, then we don't have to worry about the rates going up, going down. We lock in that fixed rate. And the 30-year home loan in the United States is a gem that is a privilege, really, that we have here in the United States that's nowhere else in the world has 30-year fixed rate. And so this is what I mean. Over the next couple of years, you're going to see literally trillions of dollars worth of real estate across the world come due. And we just covered Bank of England raised rates to the highest in 15 years. United States rug pull, raising rates at the fastest pace ever. Good luck. God bless, right? And I feel bad, right? I feel bad because this is hitting everybody. That's why we have to talk about this asset class. And I'm trying to share my story, just like I've done with crypto, just like I've done with my businesses. I just try to be transparent as far as how I'm looking at it as a home buyer, incredibly patient, cash, and I'm just going to start lowballing. We're heading into the soft season. So that's our time to take advantage and bring these folks down to reality. But I was going to say that once again here today, a home that I had just saved on my little Zillow, saved it, 2 days pending. And that's happened with the last 4 or 5 homes that I've actually saved. And I was really, thought these were a nice little deal. Went to the open house, sold over asking a day later. And so it's interesting, in some of these markets, they are still hot. They're moving like hotcakes. If it's the right home, right neighborhood, and it's well priced, it's moving like nothing. There still are a lot of buyers out there, still a lot of cash in the system. And we're not having to pay our student loan debts. And we're still, we've about tapped out all the stimmy money, but it's still circulating within the system. And so this is why I call it the great real estate reset. And so everybody can take advantage of this. Whether even if you're a renter, you're not even going to buy. Now is your time to leverage and take advantage of this opportunity, as landlords are going to be getting more desperate. They're really going to need good tenants in their property, and they're going to want that consistency of a good tenant who's going to live, and maintain the property and treat the property as if it was their own. So this is your opportunity, whether you're renting an apartment or a house. With all this supply coming online in many places, we can start to negotiate a little bit more. It'll start to level out a little bit more. But we still have, across the board, generally speaking, a lack of supply. And some markets are going to be flooded. I think there will be an oversupply eventually. But right now, there's still enough demand. We still have enough population growth. And you still have enough cash in the system of people that are looking at the real estate asset class, just like I am, as an asset class to put some money into. When we look at diversifying amongst the asset classes, real estate's one that we definitely don't want to miss because of the tax advantages and because of the historical strength of real estate in the United States. It's not only real estate, but you also have one of the strongest rule of laws in this land too, depending on what state you invest in. Some of these states, not friendly to the landlord, obviously we're going to pass over those deals. And with the technologies that have come online here, as a real estate investor, it's become so much more easier to grow a real estate portfolio and invest nationwide. You don't have to necessarily invest and build a rental portfolio in your neighborhood, right? So an incredible opportunity for those that are prepared. You guys let me know in the comments down below how you are positioning yourself in the real estate asset class. Let me know in the comments down below. Let's keep it rolling, folks. This setup for silver and gold is absolutely incredible, especially for silver. David Morgan, 2 decades ago, silver used in industry was 35% of the market. Today, it is 55% of the market and increasing. Here's the kicker. Total mining of silver 20 years ago was 550 million ounces. now 850 million ounces. Think about it, right? So now we have way more of the silver that's being used in industry, and we're only producing a little bit more silver than we were 20 years ago. Now, this is what's so interesting, and I'm going to highlight it in this next tweet right here, is that we have resources in the West, but you guys see the agenda that they're trying to push as far as not utilizing the resources within our land. We got to protect the environment, of course, but all of these other resource-rich nations are actually taking advantage of this opportunity. And the point here is that this is a map of African countries that have signed military agreements with Russia. Well, not only have they signed the military agreements, as the Brazil president calls to end the US dollar's trade dominance, along with the fact that we now have dozens more countries that are looking to join BRICS. So not only are they aligning militarily, they're aligning themselves in the currency war, and they are actually still producing resources, and many of them. And silver is just one commodity that we're talking about. And what's interesting is that silver has actually been impacted by some of the chaos and protests in nations like Peru, Poland. We're getting a little worried over there as Poland's, right there on the edge of the battle, basically. And so this silver demand is still at a deficit. 230 million ounces last year was the deficit. And we're watching right now is the COMEX vaults getting drained, the Shanghai futures vaults getting drained, and not enough silver is getting produced. It's very simple. And more of it's being used in industry. That's actually growing. So this new, and that's the beautiful thing actually, is the setup is the new green economy actually needs even more of this, of these commodities, of these rare earth minerals, and silver is just one of those as well. So, that's a big part about why I've been stacking silver, not financial advice, obviously, just showing you guys what I do, but that's why I've been stacking my silver. And I thought it was important to get a partner affiliate that could help my community load up as well. So we have Andy Sheckman, Miles Franklin is available, along with our other partner as well that will help you roll over your 401k retirement account too. So you just let us know which way you want to go with it. You want the metal shipped directly to you. You want to roll it over. We can help you get it done. And the setup to me is nice, right? The setup to me is very nice. Even if we talk about just doubling up to $50 is the conservative TA. It's like XRP. The conservative TA on XRP is $5, right? We'll go set a new all-time high, maybe go to double digits, $10. That's like $50 to $60 silver. But of course, there's those hype predictions of three-digit silver, 3 and 4 digit silver, and XRP as well. Funny how that works. But if we go somewhere in between, we've got a life-changing opportunity. That's the setup at hand. And when we see that we're at the end of a life cycle for a fiat currency in the terms of the US dollar, this could happen faster than we can even think about it. Once the markets realize what's actually taking place with this setup. Not only will you see industry demand for silver grow, but you're starting to see that more and more folks are starting to realize, I need to save something else. I don't need to save cash. I need to save something else. Now, for me, that's silver, that's XRP, and I do save cash to stay liquid for deals. That's the only reason. Cash is a tool. It's a resource that we have to use. So that's why we keep some on hand for the business operations and to invest in deals, to buy more assets. That's what we hold. And the assets that we buy have cash flow, tax advantages, and no counterparty risk. And also blackout barter. Systems go down, we can still trade something of value. We don't need to trade a 10 ouncer, we need a 1 ouncer. And you can go even smaller with the bullion as well too, but definitely diversifying into the precious metals to protect this wealth, as we see the rest of the world's just done. They're done. And they're opening up their country for business. They're doing deals with the BRICS nations. And this is all happening in tandem while America is asleep at the wheel and the mainstream media wants us to be feeling fantastic, having a good one and toast to Bidenomics. This is a setup for the American people that's going to wipe out a lot of folks. Now let's get into the crypto update, guys. Thank you for hanging with me through the current events and me ranting through that. Let's roll right on into CoinDesk. Traders appeared to sell Tether in droves Thursday for other stablecoins and key exchange pools on Curve Finance, Uniswap, pushing them into imbalance while USDT is trading slightly below its peg due to the sell pressure. Tremendous sell pressure on Tether. We're seeing it tick down to a DPEG level that we haven't seen in a while. And what's happening, folks, is a lot of manipulation and a lot of movement here into Tether and out into other stablecoins. So this is a thread here from Adam Cochran, and he's sharing the address that's mass swapping USDT to DAI is Binance funded and has multiple addresses bulk selling USDT. It's a long chain of addresses that have been interacting with USDT over the last year, but goes back to an address funded with thousands of ETH from Binance. So, just to summarize, what's been interesting to see is how we see Bitcoin that's been held forever coming back online, wallets being reactivated and moved around. You're seeing Ethereum wallets from the ICO days coming back online, getting moved around. And you're seeing blatant manipulation from Binance operations and the extension, the Binance apparatus that they created over there, along with actors like Sam Bankman-Fried and what he was doing with his apparatus and operation. Now, is Sam Bankman-Fried going to walk? Is he going to get a nice, happy, slappy deal? Probably, maybe, who knows? Is CZ going to ever, get caught or brought in? Who knows? But the point being is that this is the manipulation that is keeping the market so rigged and jacked up. And this is what we need to clean out of this space. The stablecoin legislation that's coming online in the United States, and with the rules that the regulators are actually going to be able to apply, will give the markets clarity. And it's also going to weed out the nonsense and the BS and the manipulation. Now, they've been caught, and that's why I think that they don't care. So they've been creating TUSD was the most recent one. Binance USD started the pump back with Paxos Treasury, starting the pump back in January. You guys remember those live streams. You guys remember those shows. Back in January, we were tracking the on-chain data of Binance USD, BUSD, getting mass printed at the Paxos Treasury. And every time it did, Bitcoin's going up. And then we see a massive print on January 20th of USDC of 148 million. And you see Bitcoin go up once again. Now, fast forward to August, it's still taking place, even after Binance has now been sued. And now they're threatening fraud charges as well. So this space is going to get shaken up. That's why we're covering this tonight. What is your exit liquidity? Do you have good exit liquidity? Do you have a good on-ramp or off-ramp available? Is Tether your only off-ramp? Something to consider. Is Tether on an exchange that's being sued something that you hold? Let me repeat that. Is Tether on an exchange that's being sued something that you hold? Nervously raises his hand. We got to think about this, and I'm thinking about this right now. And I'm talking about, I've obviously been trading with Tether on KuCoin. So that's where I've been doing my trading. I'm looking at other options. We don't have many good options in the United States. Now, many are starting to relist XRP. We saw the news about Bitstamp offering 2% on our XRP today. I'll be talking more about that here in a little bit. Okay. But, we still don't have many options, even for just trading, without having to pay, a bunch of ridiculous trading fees. So we got to watch what we're doing right now in the crypto space, because it's still under attack and we still have a lot that's being exposed. And talking about exposing it all, we have Empower Oversight that just got turned over 324 pages of new documents in the response to our Crypto Complex Freedom of Information Act requests from the SEC. Empower Oversight, God bless the work that they have been doing. I have not had a chance to read through this documents, but that's why we got to give a huge shout out to the one man who has led the charge, Digital Asset Investor, for leading us the way in exposing all of this corruption. And it goes much deeper than just the Ethereum free pass, the lawsuit against Ripple, and it goes up to the highest office in our land. But what DAI has done here is put on a clinic of researching and exposing corruption within your own government. And you got to give a huge shout out to all the sleuths along with them. This has been a team effort. And so God bless all of you within the XRP community that have been a part of this. And this is, like I've always said, much bigger than just XRP, much bigger than just a little bit of gains. This is about saving our country. And God bless all of you who are in that same fight with me. And those of you across the planet, maybe not in the US, but you're supporting our cause and you're fighting your own cause within your country, because this is the crap that we've been dealing with here in the United States. Check this out. Now we know everyone there to present the safe harbor memo, which became the Ethereum free pass speech. You have Andreessen Horowitz, you got Perkins Coie, you got Union Square Ventures, Cooley, you got all of them. Union Square Ventures, Joseph Grunfest, Adam Sterling. The names are getting dropped. Who was there to present the safe harbor memo, which later became the Ethereum free pass speech? DAI tags Brad Garlinghouse. He says, "Hey Brad, as I recall, Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman didn't think it was appropriate to talk about XRP in your meetings and just wanted to focus on your business. What you didn't have them emailing," he says, "what you didn't have them emailing you like you had to follow up meetings to discuss tokens like this." And this is Joseph Lubin, Bill Hinman, and they're doing follow-up emails talking about tokens, right? Even though when Brad Garlinghouse went and spoke with Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman, they didn't think it was appropriate to talk, about XRP. They wanted to talk about Ripple's business. Please report your whole business to us and break it down. But we don't think that it's appropriate to talk about XRP. But we got follow-up emails with Joseph Lubin and Bill Hinman. Whole thing is getting exposed. Cowboy Crypto, another one of the great sleuths here that we got on the team. Huge shout out to Cowboy Crypto. Invite to Bill Hinman from Consensus on April 23rd, 2018, less than 2 months before the Free Pass ETH speech. Same day Bloomberg reports CFTC chairman good guy Gary Gensler says, quote, Ether and Ripple's XRP could probably be classified as securities. So there you have it, folks. We've tied all these dots back, connected it all, and it is corrupt as hell. Hinman stated, quote, attached, please find a final draft of the speech I had mentioned, which suggests that we do not see a need to regulate Ether as it is currently offered as a security. That language is in brackets and would be used if we all are in agreement. We also have a call with Buterin later this week to confirm our understanding of how the Ethereum Foundation operates. We. How about that for a hashtag? Cowboy Crypto, great work. Great work. Now, I tell you what, folks. Talk about being wore out in the XRP community. I wish that we didn't have to keep on going back and exposing this corruption, but we have to. It's a calling, and we've been called to save our country. And it's much bigger than XRP, much bigger than the Ethereum free pass speech, but it really represents what's been taking place at the three-letter agencies and the bureaucracy beast that is the United States government and the DC corporation that hijacked this country with the funding of the Federal Reserve, which is not federal at all. We've been hijacked by a private banking cartel. They set up a DC corporation. They've ran up $30 trillion in debt, over $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities, and they kill their competition in every way possible. Using the three-letter agencies and bureaucracy is standard operating procedure. Easy, simple operations. And good guy Gary Gensler is put up there to be the chairman and the mouthpiece and the little, let me hold back my comments, the little guy that gets to come up and pretend to be the good guy, even though the only ones he's protecting is that banking cartel. Corrupt as hell. But the good news, as Ripple's been reporting, none of the lawsuit, none of what the SEC was alleging stopped the progress and the success outside of the United States. But we did get this interview with Monica Long, president of Ripple, where in this interview, she states that Ripple has now fired up conversations again with institutions and banks within the United States. So as I put out the prediction, I put it out on record already, we are going to see a banker institution in the US announce that they are using XRP for ODL, or that they have used, added it to their balance sheet and they're using it for something else. We're going to get that announcement this year. That is my prediction. Monica Long from Ripple, president of Ripple, confirming that the conversations are underway. And when they're telling us that the conversations are underway, that means that the contracts have been signed. And the most recent update that we got was 5 that have been announced. Central banks, governments piloting, working with Ripple, XRP, private ledger, public ledger with Palau. Palau already having the proper party and getting to witness how great the XRP ledger is. 5 projects announced, 5 unannounced, and 20 conversations. And as I said, if the conversations are happening, contracts are being signed. And people still want to FUD XRP. People still want to hate on Ripple and FUD Ripple and say that Ripple's not good for the XRP, not good for the space. And to me, that's laughable. Because Ripple spent $200 million fighting our own government. Do you think they wanted to do that? Whether or not this thing's staged and the aspects of it that make us, seem like we're watching a movie, all that aside, they still had to cut a check for $200 million. Now, maybe they understand what's at stake here, and, that's, a check that they could afford to cut. But people want to hate on Ripple, and as I just continue to bring up, they spent $200 million fighting our own government and fighting on behalf of the American people for, clarity on digital assets, which we now have. We got clarity in the secondary market on XRP not being a security in and of itself. They did that along with us, the 70,000 holders with John Deaton and the community that pressed so damn hard. Right? We have clarity. They spent $200 million on this lawsuit, $250 million on Mataco. They spent another $250 million on an NFT creator fund for the space. They have been giving away hundreds of millions of dollars to the community. And we got nothing, done nothing, Joe Blows who haven't accomplished anything and want to hate. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And this has been the confusion that we have been coming on our live shows every night, putting out our content on a daily basis, is XDC Pumps HARD clickbait? Is it too dramatic? I don't know. I'm going to show you guys the chart. And for those of us that have been holding XDC, feels pretty dang good, And we're going to break it down, full update every single night, every single day. Understanding this whole thing. And for those that want to throw shade at Ripple, one of the most transparent actors in the space, it is laughable to me. And then folks want to say that Ripple's paying influencers and doing this and paying exchanges. What they're doing is growing an ecosystem. And all I can say on my behalf is that I haven't taken a check from anybody. I haven't taken a check from Ripple. I haven't taken a check from anybody for a paid sponsorship. There is no paid sponsorship ads on my show. It's me. I got my own programs. I got my own deal. And if you want to join us, God bless you, come aboard. So I can just speak on my behalf, but what's funny is these folks want to hate on XRP, they want to hate on Ripple, they want to throw all this shade, create all these crazy conspiracy theories about Ripple and what they're doing without just realizing that, the contracts speak for themselves. What's Ripple done? What have they accomplished? Well, they did a deal with R3 to acquire 5 billion XRP. That's not a little deal. That's not a joke. That's not a photo op partnership like 99% of these cryptos have. That's a real deal, signed, penned, contract signed for 5 billion XRP. And that was back in 2016. Now, in the SEC lawsuit, it was exposed that there was 1,700 contracts to distribute XRP. So they've been doing something. And so only a doofus moron would say that they haven't been doing anything. They've been doing something. Now, if you're mad that they're getting paid, if you're mad that Brad's getting paid, if you're mad that somebody else has followers, that's a reflection on where you're at, right? I could say more, but I'm going to just stay tight-lipped. It's very interesting. And I mentioned that because folks have been saying that I'm paid. They've been saying things about me. And I've been dealing with the nonsense for 2.5 years. So it's nothing new. Nothing new. And as someone who's been one of the most transparent in the space, I have nothing to hide. I haven't taken a check, and I can honestly say that. As God is my witness. Not many folks can do that. But that's what we do. And that's why I appreciate your support so much. And that's why the real ones keep on coming back, is because they know that we can't be bought out. Unlike all these other guys. But it's pretty funny. Now, what we're looking at is XDC melting faces, just like XRP melted faces, just like XLM melted faces. The X coins that have been suppressed, that we've been waiting on, that we've been holding, are finally starting to rip. The chart that I'm looking at right here, I pulled this up, and I swear to God that I did not put this in. I put this in, I don't know how long ago. I don't know when I put XDC back below 2 cents, but it must have been back in June or July during this time, because I did a measured move down here back in June. So sometime back in June, when we were already moving back down, I was looking at a chart here, a 50% move back below 2 cents. Now, we didn't quite clear out 2 cents, but we got pretty dang close, right? And that was the whole point, is to call out this move, which we did. We did make it back down to 2 cents. And so I most recently just picked up some XDC here again. This was a position that I had sold off last year. And see, I don't even have to explain this, or I don't have to be this transparent, but I just do this because I'm just so used to putting it all out there every single night for you guys, putting all my effort into this program that I try to put out in a way that can help people see how I'm doing it. And then you make your own decision. Not here to give you financial advice, but just laying it all out there. But anyways, I had sold off my XDC last year, put it all into my trading bag, and that's the trading bag that I've grown. I don't even know. I'm well over 100%, 200%, I think, in the last year, just shorting Bitcoin. So I took my XDC bag, put it into trading, shorted the hell out of Bitcoin. It's worked pretty dang good, and we've grown the bag. But then I also took advantage of sub 3 cent XDC and swooped up there too. And so it's nice to see. You're looking at XDC and you're looking and you got a 200% return on your bag. That's where I'm at right now. And that's nice. That's fun, you know. But I really think that when I look at these markets and where we're going, see, this is pretty incredible to see XDC back up to 9 cents here today, 9.5 cents. That's a lot of fun, but we're just getting started. So in August of 2 years ago, during the 2021 bull run, that is when XDC topped out at 19 cents. So we're about halfway back to that previous all-time high. We're just getting started. But when I, zoom out and take a look at this whole space, and I think about, do I want to sell my XDC right now? I'm just thinking, I don't necessarily need those funds. So we can let it ride. But also, a reset hasn't been completed. I'm still watching countries abandon the dollar every single day. I'm still watching the Fed raise interest rates. I'm still watching horrendous data points when it comes to the economy. I'm still watching, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of manipulation still taking place in the cryptocurrency space. I mean, maybe not hundreds of billions, but billions of dollars of manipulation still taking place in the cryptocurrency space. I'm still seeing the SEC sue exchanges. So are we done? Have we achieved full utility, adoption? Are we even close? Not at all. So I'm not selling. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just, laying it all out there for you guys to see how I'm maneuvering and how I'm thinking about this. Same thing with XRP. Okay, you want to trade XRP short term. Good luck, God bless to you. I don't feel comfortable with anybody having my XRP right now, including Bitstamp's joke of a 2% lend program. That's laughable. And I put out the video today. Hopefully you guys saw that one. And the point being, guys, is that there's going to be exchanges, there's going to be banks, institutions, but even XRP Ledger tokens, and even automated market makers that are going to be competing for your XRP. They are going to want your XRP. They're going to need your XRP. And this is just the first deal. See, we're like someone who's selling our house. This is just the first offer that's came in. Well, and there's been a few others. Nexo, there's been a few others. I know you guys have a couple other programs, a couple other exchanges that are offering a return. That's great. We're going to have the automated market makers going to bring more. There's plenty of XRP Ledger tokens that have a story to tell you. Just like the rest of the crypto space, right? 90% of them have no utility, are solving no problems, and they won't succeed. They might catch a little temporary pump, but you better get in on the insiders with that if that's what you're planning on doing, because most of these tokens aren't going to make it, but they want your XRP. So you exchange your XRP for their XRP Ledger token. You give your XRP up for the automated market maker liquidity pool. You give your XRP up for the 2% return on Bitstamp. For, it was what, 8% on Nexo, 10% if you receive Nexo tokens back, whatever the program was. And we warned about all of these exchange tokens, about how they didn't have real utility. The main use and utility of these exchange tokens was providing liquidity on these exchanges, i.e. keeping them solvent. And being able to allow them to offer DeFi programs. You basically, you just are joining their glorified Ponzi scheme. Come stake with us. And now the space and humans did what they do best, and they abused this technology with 80,000% time wonderland returns. And there's probably some of you guys in the show here tonight that invested in these types of DeFi programs. I know some of you guys did. Be honest. You just couldn't help yourself. 589% on your XRP. It's coming. I'm telling you guys, there's going to be somebody. And so right now, it's not an option for me. Right now, when I look at selling XDC, I think, wow, okay, I could have turned that little bag into something a little bit bigger. And then what? And then you got to flip it, and then you got to move it. And I'm not a sophisticated trader. And I just stick to trading Bitcoin mostly. That's the only coin I trade. And yes, I only short it. I really don't go long Bitcoin ever. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry, Bitcoin bros. All I do is short it. But that's been my program. It's worked out for me. When it comes to these assets like XDC that I, have held, XRP that I've held, I get too emotionally tied up in XRP to trade it, and I don't do enough technical analysis to trade these other ones. And when I look at why they're in my bag, the utility and the markets that they're going after, in the case of XDC, it's a trade finance focus. And there's so much utility packed in there. There's so many problems to solve. The market is valued at 19 trillion plus, and that's going to be growing. And XDC can be used for a lot of other things too. But I think that it's going to be a very solid smart contracts platform that's also going to have very good liquidity as well. And a lot of important dApps are going to be created on XDC, I believe. So that's the work that we're seeing over there, along with partnerships with Zinfin with people that matter. As we've always said, you can have the best tech in the world, but are you shaking hands and doing deals, signing contracts to actually use the token? Or are you just doing photo ops and consulting somebody? And you got a story and you got to trust me, bro. Or is somebody actually using the token, i.e. Palau running their US dollar backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger? That's not a fake partnerships. That's not a photo op. That's not a trust me, bro. That's a look at the ledger and you can see the transactions. That's amazing to see. Huge shout out to Jay Anson for coming on the show. If you guys didn't see that one, make sure you guys go check out the interview. We just had Jay on the show. We interviewed it. We premiered it yesterday. Talking about the Palau stablecoin, US dollar backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger. But when I think about selling XDC, when I think about selling XLM, I'm thinking, well, 2 to 3x from where we just top back off our bags. You guys know I did the same thing with my XLM bag. I had sold my XLM bag a couple years ago, or whenever XLM pumped up to like 30, 40 cents. XRP was still stuck at 20 cents, wasn't moving as much. I sold off my XLM right back into XRP, and we just really, loaded up on XRP. But now I've reaccumulated XLM back at these lows again. So now we've, moved on the XLM, we've moved on the XDC. But for me, you guys know I've been very transparent with my bag. Most of my bag is XRP when it comes to digital assets. And so the big bag is XRP, and I'm still waiting for true utility and price discovery to come in for all three of these assets. So I just bring this up tonight to ask the question, because everybody's going to be asking me, what are you doing with your XDC? Well, we store it on the LiPal Titan wallet. If you guys are looking to get a cold storage wallet for XDC, you can just go to my website, or the wallet should be linked up down in the description below to get yourself an LiPal Titan wallet. And that's a ledger-like device, cold storage wallet that can store your XDC. because I believe that they still don't have XDC available on Ledger Nanos. And so that's why the LEPAL Titan has been such a nice one, is that it holds XDC along with our other digital assets. Great wallet there too. We really like that wallet. So with that being said, folks, XDC pumping hard. Absolutely love to see it. XLM been going, and XRP led the way after we got that clarity. That's fantastic to see, but I'm not out yet. Just so we know. I'm not trying to be giving you the sell signal, the buy signal, or any signal other than on look out ahead for the chaos that's coming. Look out ahead for the storm that we are in. You don't have to look out ahead. You just look up, look up and wake up. Take off the blinders. Stop watching the mainstream news, which you guys already have. If you guys are here, you're tapped in. If you're new here, by the way, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you haven't already, guys, please smash it for me. Thank you for the support. But with that being said, I got some time here. We can do a little bit of Q&A if you guys want to chop it up for a minute. Feel free to drop your question down in the comments below and I'll answer it. Appreciate all the support. Everything's at my website, ZachRector.com. I just need to see all this stuff play out, right? The beautiful thing about this bear market is it's given us opportunity to focus on our businesses and to save up and prepare for what we experienced, which was these coins. And this is a point that I was forgetting to make. These coins fell harder than most, but they're pumping harder than most. So that's the give and the take of these utility suppressed assets, is that they dumped so hard, right? XDC from 20 cents all the way back down to 2. And they didn't stay there long, did they? Right? Now, they've been hanging out below 5 cents for XDC for a long time, below $1 for XRP for a long time, below 10 cents for XLM for a long time. But then just out of nowhere, melt your face pump. And people, are laughing because they're thinking, well, 200%, that's not a melt your face pump. You bet it is. When you're shutting down exchanges, when folks are in the middle of a bear market recession, world's on fire around you, times are tough around you, at your household, at your business, times are tough. They ain't what they used to be. So you're feeling a little uneasy, and then you start to see that, oh crap, I got some money over here now. This is where people aren't going to make it to the dance. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but people are going to exit the party. Party's just getting started, folks. We just poured up the first one. We haven't even got to round 2. Are you kidding me? And folks want to hit the exits? Hey, teach their own. Teach their own. I just haven't seen enough. That's the bottom line. I haven't seen enough. And the data that I'm looking at tells me it gets worse before it gets better. But these suppressed assets are going to move too damn quick for our own good, and we're going to be losing our minds. You guys already are. Folks already are over XDC. I already am. Even myself, I'm looking at this, I'm like, wow. I could move. I mean, I got profits here, and you're doing the math. And you think you're smart, and you want to be able to tell everybody that you made 200% on your money. I get it. It's like I was talking the other day about the conversation that we're going to be having with our significant other. It's going to go one of two ways. Honey, haven't been protecting it. We've been losing it. Or you're going to be able to tell that significant other, I've been protecting it and I've been multiplying it. We've been growing it. We've been making sure it's still coming in, honey. Don't worry. It's going to go one of two ways. For me, my mission is to make sure that we make it through to the finish line. What's up, guys? How are we doing tonight? Drop your comments down below. Can you explain more about shorting Bitcoin as you in a put option? Yeah, shorting futures on Qcoin is how I've been trading. Not financial advice. I don't recommend trading for most people, but that's how I've been doing it. XDC is the real Ethereum killer? Yeah. XDC, I just thought that it was funny. I hadn't looked at the XDC chart in a long time, but I pulled up the XDC on Qcoin daily chart, And I think this got distorted a little bit, but the point being is that we were calling out this move back in June. It must have been back in June, right around in here. Sure enough, we come down to 2 cents. We fill our orders, and now we're already bouncing. Now, the point being, I don't feel like we're in the clear, and we can easily come back down. And you just got to make sure that you guys can make it through these times right now. Make sure that you got your cash. Make sure that you have some other options. Blackout barter, systems go down. What's the plan? What's the program? What's the strategy? You know. Costa Rica in the chat. How are we doing? Exactly, Angela. Yeah, Ledger does not hold XDC, so that's why we have the LPal Titan. You guys can find the link for LPal down below. Yeah, I got both chats rolling. We got TikTok, we got YouTube. We are live for the night, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you guys so much. Let's keep it rolling. I'll try to go rapid fire through these questions, and I've ranted enough tonight. Protect and provide. Amen. Amen. God willing. Are you still able to use Qcoin since it's KYC required? That's a different story I can't explain on live. Zach, you mentioned having dry powder on the sides. Would this be for a black market type circumstance or just to be able to deploy money into assets when they dip? Both. Both. Because cash in hand is blackout barter, and then cash in the bank is dry powder for buying deals. So both, 100%. Oh, Coach Sean dropped a super chat. I did see that. I did see the super chat come in. Guys, thank you so much for partying with me tonight, turning up. Darn it, Coach Sean, it went away. I apologize. Thank you for the super chat. I was too busy ranting. I apologize. How are we doing tonight, guys? Why are they keeping XRP so low? Well, the thing is right now is we're still in the middle of the chaos. We're still in the middle of the manipulation. And so, and we still haven't really even fired up much utility that takes us to the finish line, right? The finish line being a much higher price. We still have to get this thing going. We still got to see liquidity grow. We still got to see demand grow. I think that there's going to be some major announcements made over the next year of banks, institutions within the United States. I think that you're going to start to see a supply shock incoming sometime in the next year, not just for XRP, but for other suppressed assets as well. We already saw the deficit for silver. I think that we're going to see a deficit for XRP unless Ripple decides to disperse the XRP escrow in a way that, you know, keeps us flush with supply, which, you know, the thing about it is that XRP's up over the last year, even though Ripple's selling more XRP to their on-demand liquidity institutional partners. That's the facts, is that XRP's up over the last year, even though Ripple is offloading more and selling more XRP to their bank and institutional partners that are utilizing ODL. This year, they're selling about 30% more than they were last year. Now, the haters and the fuzzers say, oh my gosh, Ripple's dumping more XRP. Yeah, but we're at a higher price, and we have 40 corridors now for ODL compared to 3. And the volumes grew 9 times year over year. And now we're having conversations with banks and institutions in the United States with clarity. Time to have some fun. But we haven't even started. Like I said, guys, we literally just served up the first drink at the party. And folks are already trying to dip. I thought selling to institutions was considered a security. Well, it's how it is sold to institutions, right? So if it's not sold in a contract from Ripple, there are ways that they could do this where they could sell and put basically a market maker or an exchange in between. So it's not that they can't get XRP into the hands of banks and institutions. They can. It's just how they do so, how the contract is written up, and or how they most likely will be doing it is through a market maker and over-the-counter offer. And over-the-counter means basically behind the scenes, not public markets. So that's how Ripple can still get XRP into the hands of the institutions right now. Christy, I appreciate you. I don't know if I'm the smartest in this space. I like to put everything together, but I appreciate you so much, Christy. There's definitely folks that are a lot smarter than me when it comes to some other aspects. My role is to be that general that ties it all together for us and keeps us moving, keeps us inspired. Yeah, Lukey says that XDC is not going to be going to $1 this week. Yeah, I mean, that's fine, right? You just don't know, though, right? This is massive manipulation that's kept it suppressed. So we can easily see a slingshot effect where when this thing does get let go, it goes to a place and we never come back to these prices again. Same things at play for all of these coins. Now, there is massive sell pressure. Let me be very clear, though. There is massive sell pressure for these assets. That's why a lot of people have already sold their XDC. In a bear market, in a recession, in the look around me, the world is on fire, literally, on the verge of World War III, former presidents getting indicted for the third time. A 2x hits a little bit different than when you're in the bull market and when everything's going up. The space, folks are doing 10x, 100x, and when you double up on your bag, you don't care. It's not enough, you know? But during a bear market, during the world on fire, you're thinking, oh, shoot. Or you're not even thinking about it. You need the money, which is a reality. I have sympathy for that. I'm a family man just trying to make it happen for my family too. So I get it. I took a second look at my XDC bag today as well. It was actually the first time that I looked at the profit that I had made so far on it, and I was like, like I said, we haven't seen enough. We haven't seen enough. But we warned about folks having to sell off their XRP, having to sell off their suppressed assets. Over the last year, we were warning about this. Here we are. We get a little pump. Folks take off. Telling you guys, we got a lot more where that's coming from. We haven't seen nothing yet. Tony Huggins, 999. Thank you for the 10 spot, Tony. Appreciate you, brother, for always showing the support. It appears Ripple put 100 to 300 million less back in escrow at the turn of August as compared to prior months. What does this mean? 100 to 300. So they put 800 back. Yeah, Ripple put 800 back in escrow this month, right? So 200 to 300 has been about the average. You know, this year it's been more towards the 300. Last year was more towards 200. Like I said, it was about 30% more this year compared to last year. And so far, the total tally was 2.2 billion, but that was before this month's release. And, you know, so I'm glad that you guys mentioned that because now we got to watch further where this XRP goes. Okay. Because now this is the first escrow release that we've had since we got the ruling from the judge. So is Ripple just going to kind of it's going to be business as usual where, you know, they're going to distribute a couple 100 million XRP to some of their partners. And we're seeing corridors fire up. The big one that, you know, we mentioned on our show was Japan-Philippines corridor with SBI. That's a major corridor that's getting fired up right there. And along with the announcement that we have 5 central banks and governments that are partnered up and piloting, working with Ripple that have been announced and 5 that have been unannounced. One would assume that the 5 that are unannounced might be a bigger country, might be a bigger deal than, no offense to Palau, but it's a small island country with only about 18,000 people. We respect what they're doing, and we do think that it's a great little test bed for a US dollar-backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger. Great little test over there in Palau. But one would assume that maybe the unannounced partnerships with central banks and governments are maybe some bigger ones, i.e. a Japan, a G7 nation, other nations within Europe, or even just bigger countries in South America. We know we've seen some corridors that have been flowing pretty good, and we're going to see them start to ramp up, especially U.S. to Mexico and U.S. to the rest of the South America countries. You're going to see all these corridors are going to start to fire up now that we know that we can use XRP for its utility without it in and of itself being a security. Whether that's MoneyGram, we saw Bitso, that corridor has been firing up and rampant over there, the biggest exchange in Latin America. We've seen that Ripple's been in close ties with Brazil, which their president right now is actively speaking for everybody to dump the dollar. So that's an interesting dynamic at play. And so we're starting to see that the world is picking up more gold than they have in 50 years. And the central banks of the world are talking with Ripple more than any other company in the space by far, not even close. Not even close, not even a conversation happening with these other companies. These other companies are trying to get some progress with some companies, some partnerships that matter, but they can't even get a central bank to pick up the phone. They don't even try. With Ripple, it's, we're basically pulling people from the top of Wall Street. We're pulling the 43rd Treasury of the United States. We're pulling people from within the system to come work at Ripple. And then we got some of the best tech developers in the space. And it's just simple. It works. For 10 plus years, the uptime has been incredible. It's cheap, efficient. And now we're getting that secret sauce, the automated market makers, which takes us to the next level. Bitstamp 2% lend program, that's not taking us to the next level. But what is going to take us to the next level is banks and institutions picking up XRP and draining the supply, along with the demand for XRP picking up for all of the utility and liquidity that you can use XRP for. It's the perfect storm during a liquidity crisis and a debt and a currency crisis that's also rampant, which means that more people are going to be holding XRP as a reserve currency, just like myself. You're going to hold XRP on your balance sheet as a reserve. BRICS is going to be massive, and as a percentage of GDP and population, you're damn near at half the world, plus over half the world is now going to be within the BRICS agreement or going to be aligned with BRICS. And if they haven't even done a deal with BRICS, but they're dropping the dollar, that's a group that we're just watching closely. You don't have to do a deal with BRICS. You don't have to join or officially join BRICS to drop the dollar. That's what we're watching closely. And what's interesting to see is that, why a country like Palau wanted to use the XRP ledger, why it's helping them out so much. And a use case that I hadn't even thought of for, basically a CBDC or a stablecoin issued by a government is that for all the tourism that Palau gets, they don't have very many banks within Palau, the islands there. There's not many banks that you can go to. And so the banks that you do have to go to, there's a line out the door and around the block on payday because everybody's having to take a physical check in to go get paid and pull out cash. And everybody pulls out US cash. That's how they run their country. But then a big part of their business and industry over there is tourism, of course. And so what they can do is they can distribute these coins, and they can make the process more seamless for tourists that are coming to their country that already hold US dollars, but now they want to be able to spend US dollars within their country. And, if the adoption of this Palau stablecoin grows and more merchants and more vendors grow and adopt this, and as they get more internet. See, in these types of countries, you're literally dealing with issues like that where they're only at 4G internet. They're not getting microwave cooked in the 5G like we are, right? They're only at 4G, and they're just got a fiber optic cable from Guam, I believe is what Jay had said. But you're literally bringing systems online as far as physical infrastructure being put in place for internet before we can really ramp up and scale this trial. But it's going incredibly well. They're going to be concluding the first phase of this trial this month, and then they're going to report back. And then stage 2 is them moving to more vendors, more merchants, and issuing it to more people. It's been a relatively small trial, but it's a nice little test bed. And I believe that Ripple is going to be using this trial to showcase to all their other banks, institutions, and countries that are looking to partner with them as well. Zach, please tell me that XDC is going to retrace, please. I mean, we always see these assets pull back, right? After massive moves, massive volume comes in, and then we get the traders that sell off. We get the people that need to take profit. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get a pullback. I don't know if we go back down to 2 or 3 cents though. See, I was calling for 2 cent XDC back earlier this year. That interview is fire. Yeah, thank you, Christy. That was a good one. That was a good one. Can you guys believe it? We got a government official on my little platform, on my little YouTube show. How is that possible? And actually, I was going to make a point on that earlier with Digital Asset Investor and the work that he's been doing. So now that Congress is watching, Bill Huizenga actually follows me, Congressman Bill Huizenga. They're literally watching us in the little XRP community on Twitter. Can you believe this? And we are being heard. And that's because of John Deaton. That's because of DAI. That's because of Brad Kimes. That's because of the whole community here. That's because of all of you guys. You know, when you guys smash the thumbs up on my video, when you tap the screen on TikTok and share the stream on TikTok, when you guys spread this message far and wide and our community works together, we save our country. Not just get clarity for XRP, not just get a little gains in crypto, bro. We save our country. And that's what this is about. And so all eyes are on us, and we got to capitalize this opportunity right now by continuing to double down and push down on these folks that we're exposing. We didn't want it to be this way. We didn't want to have to go to the courts. Thank God we still got a U.S. rule of law, somewhat of a rule of law. And we're going to fight it out like hell in the courts, right? And this battle is not over. It's just getting started. And they're still trying to cover up their tracks. They're getting caught in the cover up. And that's what came out today with the Empower Oversight documents that we broke down earlier in the show. If you guys missed that, we already broke down all the documents. We got to see the group that came to give the safe harbor memo. The safe harbor memo was an in-person meeting, but from Andreessen Horowitz, by Perkins Coie, all these groups got together. They were part of that Ethereum Free Pass, and that was the beginning of that speech. The Ethereum Free Pass began back at that meeting. Now this has all come out after the lawsuit, and you guys recall Brad Garlinghouse saying that their actions were shameful. And I remember back in the day, you know, from our sources, they were saying that these people aren't going to be able to walk the streets. And you're seeing a situation like that, even in the United States. Now you're seeing it in other countries too. In other countries, they're really calling it out. Here in the United States, we're just now starting. And we're still doing way too much talk. Way too much talk, way too much DC dance. No accountability yet. You know. But this is where we continue to press down. Like I said, I wish we didn't have to still be covering the corruption from the Ethereum Free Pass, but we do. We do. And we do still have to ask the question, how much are the damages? How much are the damages? And we're still discovering that as now we've been set free. We pumped to $1. We're just getting started. We crashed all the exchanges. We'll see where we go from here. We'll see what the new all-time high will be, but we're going to see how big those damages were. The new all-time high that XRP sets gives us a glimpse, not the full story. We'll never know what the full story would have been. We'll never know what the true reality could have been for XRP had it not got caught in this lawsuit. We already could have made boatloads of money off of XRP had our government not attacked this digital currency and the company Ripple that is utilizing it. So the damages are massive. And I believe that the damages are over $1 trillion. And I don't say that as a joke. I don't say that as a meme. I don't say that as clickbait. I really believe if you do the maths, and we'll get price discovery here, and we'll go set a new all-time high, and the market cap bros can see and take a glimpse and use that as one metric to determine how much the damages were. But the damages go much deeper than that because, like I said, it's not just the XRP community. It's not just the battle that we fought. We are still fighting a corrupt, I'm not even going to name it because I don't want to get in trouble tonight. I'll get too get too turned up, get too fired up. I can't even talk further on it. But this goes up to the highest office in our country. And what's interesting is that you still see it's not just Twitter talking heads that are trying to fight out XRP and Ripple still. It's the mainstream news. It's the folks that were behind the Ethereum free pass, the folks that are incentivized to talk against XRP, who tried to compete against XRP, who tried to suppress XRP and shut down XRP, are coming onto the mainstream crypto, are coming on the mainstream news. Charlie Gasparino, one of the biggest guys that's doing this, right? An obvious shill for the bank, obvious shill for Wall Street. And he's coming on, and like I put out the tweet, there's many people, influencers, and yes, even exchanges that want to come use the XRP community. And they come be our friends, and then they dip and want to hate. Or they just come and they pull up and they just FUD and misinformation and disinformation nonstop. And they're still doing it with the ruling, even though any decent lawyer, any decent person who understands the law, which the order was written in such a simple way, such a tremendous read. Let me pull it out real quick and let's give a huge shout out to Judge Torres. You know, it's just an incredible read right here when we pull out the order from Judge Torres. So simply written for us to understand that XRP in and of itself is not a security. And you still have the mainstream lawyers. They're getting all these shills and these talking heads to come up on the mainstream and say that, this doesn't stand up too well. The SEC is probably going to appeal. They're still doing their nonsense and their pathetic little dance trying to protect Bitcoin and Ethereum and the corruption that they've already been a part of. And XRP was the biggest threat to the traditional financial system. That's why Ripple got sued. We now know, because we just got the documents for the safe harbor memo, which later became the free pass speech, the groups, the meetings, the emails, we got most of it, not all of it. We want all truth to be revealed, but the government's fighting like hell to cover it up. But God bless Judge Torres for giving us this 34-page order, which is so simple to read and understand that even a doofus moron like myself can break it down and understand. It's very simple. XRP in and of itself is never a security. Never. Never. Not in any dual reality, not in any dream that you got, not in any story that you want to believe is it ever a security. But you can package up XRP in an investment contract securities offering. You can package up real estate in a security. You can package up silver in a security. You can package up whatever you want into an investment contract that meets the Howey Prong test and is a securities offering, or an unregistered securities offering in the case of the Ethereum ICO, one of the biggest ICOs in our space, along with the token factory that was created on top of it. Ethereum was the base foundational layer, and 10,000 plus meme coins and BS got created on top of it. Many of them did ICOs, and they wonder why the SEC is coming after them. You created an investment contract, you sold it to investors, you promised a story, you may or may not have brought them profits, but these are laws that we've had on the books for decades. You have to register if you create a security like this and offer it. I mean, these guys have no sympathy for me. And no sympathy for me for the Ethereum ICO and that whole group either. It was corrupt as hell. Do I want the SEC to exist? Exist, period? Not really. I don't really think that they're protecting us. And I don't count on the SEC or anybody to protect me. I take my own protection of how I'm going to invest into my own hands. But do I want to see the SEC be able to go on this rampage and take out all these folks in the space? Not really. But we shouldn't be surprised. And they have unlimited resources to do so. And I long stated that after they got done with XRP, that the crosshairs were going to turn on the rest of these Ponzi schemes, all these scams, and all these projects that even if they were trying to do the right thing, might still get into trouble. You guys see that Richard Hart from Hex got sued for $1 billion and for defrauding his investors. It's a tough case for Richard to fight. And it doesn't, even if you want to say that Hex, the token, is not a security. Okay. you could say that the staking platform is a security. If you stake your HEX, that you are investing in a security, right? And then you also have the fact that they're going after him for fraud. That's going to be a problem. But it's no surprise. I have no sympathy for a guy that was flashing his Louis bags and flexing that he had the most expensive diamond in the world. No sympathy over here. What else are we working with, folks? What are we working with, folks? Yeah, so the video today was passive income on XRP. If you guys missed that one, make sure you guys go check out. That was kind of my full reaction to the Bitstamp 2%. We're going to take XRP to the next level. They give us 2%, which is a joke because treasuries right now just went to 4 point. Oh yeah, I wrote it down right here. The 10-year just went to 4.19. And the October 2022 high, most recent high, was 4.24%. So the 10-year treasury is paying you out 4% on your money. Why would you give Bitstamp your XRP for 2%? It's not going to work. And I've been saying too that you got to look at your gains compared to inflation too. If you're going to take your gains in the form of fiat currency, you got to look at how quickly that fiat currency is being devalued. And real inflation, I don't believe, is at 3% like they're telling us. Now, if you want to believe the government and trust the government, then good luck, God bless to you. But that is not what I think is happening, 3% inflation. So if you're not even getting paid the cost of inflation, you're at break even or you're losing. Now, what I think, though, is funny about this whole Bitstamp situation is that folks would have blindly thrown their XRP into this if it was 10, 20% without asking where the yield is coming from, if it was a return that they deemed worthy. And this is the warning that I'm going to put out. This is a warning to everyone right now. You really need to understand where this yield is being generated from, right? When a bank, this is how a bank makes money, is they take in your deposit, right? You put it into their little scheme at Bank of America or whatever bank you're with. They take your money and they lend it out to others at a higher rate and they make off that margin. And they hope that the business that they loan for, that the house that they loan for the credit card that they loan for whatever the heck, the student loans that they loaned on, that they get paid back. Now, what we have here with Bitstamp is just one of many programs that are going to be coming our way. But a 2% yield, yeah, it sucks. It's not what we want. But what's the one thing that I look out for is it sustainable? It probably is. It probably is sustainable as long as the exchange stays solvent and they remain flush and they're able to collect all their fees. Like, exchanges make a lot of money, and that exchange could literally just be taking our XRP, flipping it right around and investing in 10-year treasuries to get 4% return, and they could pocket the difference, right? So that's why, like, and I'm not saying that that's what they're going to do with our XRP, but you got to ask the question, where is the yield going to come from? So are they going to be generating yield by taking your XRP and then leveraging it out to somebody else in the form of a loan, and then that crypto degenerate is just going to be taking the money and running, or using it for whatever he's going to use it for, in the hopes that that exchange gets paid back at a higher rate of borrow, right? They're going to charge you 4%, 6% interest on your loan that you're going to be able to take out from them. And that's how they're going to be able to pay back the XRP holders that go and park their XRP with them. That's how I expect. And they're going to be waiting for the automated market makers to come along, and that's how they're going to be generating a yield as well. And a lot of people are going to be disappointed with some of these AMMs because they only give them 4 or 5%. But the question you have to ask is that sustainable? And is that the return that you're seeking? You know, for me, 4 or 5% on my money is not what I focus my time on. I focus my time on 10x plus and protect. So I go on defense and I don't even think about the gains that we're going to get on our silver. And they're going to be fantastic in my opinion. But I don't even think about the gains. This is protection. This is insurance. This is defense. And then with all of my time, I'm focused on 10x plus opportunities. How do I get 1,000% on my money? How do I 10x? You know? So for me, as someone who's young, I go full offense, full like risk. And I like to remain in control. That's the thing with all of my investments, with my business, how I'm looking at real estate asset class as well. I like having some sort of control. If one of these platforms is going to provide us a return on our XRP, and I believe that the return is generated in a sustainable way, and the business is going to do a good job of custodying my assets, my XRP as well, then maybe I will consider. But I'm not going to be putting it or looking at any of these platforms that are offering ridiculous returns. They have to generate the yield from somewhere. And the perfect example is what took place in the DeFi markets back last year. Everybody was into DeFi. Everybody was going to catch a yield. Everybody was going to catch their stake. And they were doing pancake swap to sushi swap to swap and this and that. And at the end of the day, they ended up with nothing because these programs went to nothing. Or they ended up with a crap load of these tokens. They were getting 80,000% returns on a token that the value was dropping to zero. So you ended up with a lot of tokens and not many dollars. So the XRP community and the broader crypto community, you guys are going to have the same opportunities as well. Some of you guys already have staking. Some of you guys already have automated market makers within some of these other projects. That's fantastic. But where is the yield coming from? Right? Just like any investment you're going to make, you want to understand what's the business model. And in this case, you know, if you're lending, you're going to take my XRP and you're going to lend it out to degenerate crypto bros, and you're going to charge them 6% on their money, and you know, you're not going to do a credit score, and you're just going to let them leverage and go. I don't know about you guys, but that worries me. You know. Yeah, Nexo is one of the platforms, but they also just got sued and they settled up with the SEC, and then they had to shut down much of their staking, which wasn't available in many states anyway. So this is where folks are super excited because there hasn't been any opportunities to stake, lend, leverage your XRP other than a few. There have been a few. Bitstamp is not the first, and they won't be the last. That's the point. They're not the first. They won't be the last. And these exchanges, these banks, are going to be competing for our business. Just like the XRP Ledger tokens are. There's, 1,000 plus XRP Ledger tokens now? They all got a story. Some of them have some legitimate business. There's a few legit ones. You know, we had Casino Coin on the show. We had Patrick Riley from Reaper. That's it. I'm trying to think. Who else did we have on there? There's a few others. There's a few others that are maybe worth mention too. But that's the only ones that I've had on my show so far. But I've always said, any legitimate project on the XRP Ledger, you got a slot on my show. Come on in. Come have a conversation with me. With that being said, folks, I think I'm going to wrap up this session. It's been a pleasure running up a late one with you guys. Hope you guys are staying safe out there, protecting your assets and cutting through all the nonsense, the distractions, and the chaos that we're seeing every single day. Continuing to stay tapped in on this channel and doing me a favor by smashing that thumbs up, hitting that notification bell so you don't miss any of our live updates. I appreciate all of you guys. We got more content coming for you guys tomorrow, and we did make it to Friday. We did make it to the weekend, but we are working on creating a life where we don't wait for the weekend, where we just show up every day, we continue to press on, and we continue to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. God bless.